Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about fiction. This is designed by Peter C. Hayward, and it is published by Allplay, formerly known as BoardGamesTable.com.
A couple of years ago, there was a little game online that you could play called Wordle.
What?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
It was all over the place. People were posting about it on social media, constantly. It filled up my feed for weeks and weeks. Well, guess what? Fiction is basically a board game, gamified version of Wordle. You have a 5-letter word that you are trying to guess. There's one person who is trying to give you all the information that you need to make that happen. Everyone else is trying to guess that. But that player who's giving you the word is not on your side. They are going to be using lies and deceit to try to trick you up.
It's because they are the lie brarian.
That's right, a lie. Get it?
Get it? Lie.
Lie.
Get it?
Yeah. I'll give you a quick overview of how to play. All right, here's our setup for fiction. We basically have kind of a 2-team situation, or an all versus one situation. Over here we have the clue giver. This is kind of their little setup. And over here, this is what all the other players are going to be using to try to guess. So we've got a whole bunch of cards here, and they all represent different books throughout history, and on them is a whole bunch of words. You can kind of see we're looking at a 5-letter word here. That's what we're trying to get them to guess. The other ones are the kind of the normal mode. The red words, those are the hard mode. All right, so it is around Christmas time when I'm recording this, so I'm going to choose A Christmas Carol. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to choose one of the words here. All right, so let's go with lemon. That seems like a good 5-letter word that I want to use here. So I'm going to write it at the top of my board here and kind of tuck it inside the lid here so the other players cannot see what I've written. Then also the clue giver is going to give one of those letters in that word to the other team, just to show them this letter is for sure in this word. So they might say E. So this team is going to circle the E. So they know, okay, there's an E in this word somewhere. We don't know where it is. We know the E is in there somewhere. Now what they're going to do is they're going to write down a word on this little board over here, and they're going to submit it to the clue giver that they think might be helpful to them. They know there's an E in the word, so they might use, let's say, the word drone. Now they're going to submit this to the other player. They're going to use these tokens to kind of give them some clues. The 3 styles of clues are, this blue check mark means this is the correct letter and it's in the correct placement. This yellow one means this letter is in the word, but not in that exact spot. And then the X means this is not in the word at all. So what they could do is they could put an X here for the D. They could put an X for the R. There is an O in the word, so they'd put this here. Check mark or an X for the N. No, it's a yellow for the N. And a yellow for the E as well. So this is what would happen in a normal situation. However, the clue giver gets to lie one time. So out of these 5, they can lie about it. So maybe they want to throw people off and say, you know what? There is an R right there. This team's in pretty good shape. They've got 3 letters over here that are in the word but not in the right location, plus an R that is in the exact right location. That's going to give some huge clues. However, they also know one of these is a lie. So they have these fact or fiction tokens. What they can do is they can say, hey, once per turn, we're going to say which one of these is a fact or a fiction. Let's say the O. Is that a fact or a fiction? And the clue giver has to truthfully say that token was a fact. So now we can circle the O as well. We know there's an O in this word. We know it's not in the right place, but it's somewhere in that word. We know it's not in that place, but it's somewhere in that word. We don't know which is the lie yet, so we can't really go do much further as far as crossing things out. It might have been the D's a lie, it might have been the R, any of those is a lie. Or maybe this E that we know is in the word actually does belong there, and that should be a blue check, but instead they put the yellow there as well. So we don't really have a lot of information. So we're going to keep that going, and we're going to use another one. We're going to submit more words now that we know some more information, and keep on trying to figure out what the people know. We only have 3 of these fact or fiction tokens to work with, so you have to kind of use them sparingly to get the most amount of information. And over on this side, the clue giver is also writing down all the things that have been submitted to them, and they're kind of writing down what they lied about, all that stuff. So they can have a track of everything right there, so that way they can kind of see what lies they've told before, and maybe they want to tell those same lies again later, so people don't really know it's a lie yet, or whatever the case is. There is kind of a halfway point in the game. You're going to set a 10-minute timer. After that 10-minute timer is up, that signals the end of that half. So you have to use the blue ones at the first half, these tan ones are in the second half. So if you have not gone through all these yet, you're kind of out of luck. Now we're going on to the tan ones, and you have less to work with. So you kind of want to act quickly so that way you can get the most amount of information. The guessing team is going to win the game if they're able to come up with the correct word. However, the clue giver, they're going to win if one of two things happens. Either that 10-minute timer runs out, that second one, or they run out of all 10 of their guesses. At that point, the game ends, and the clue giver wins. Now, I think this game is pretty challenging for the clue guessers. However, for whatever reason, you have a really skilled team, you can bump up the difficulty to the hard difficulty. In that case, you only are going to get one of those factor fiction tokens per half of the game. Also, instead of having a 10-minute timer, you're only going to have 8 minutes per half. And the librarian, the clue giver, can you start using those red words? Those red words are more challenging, usually having 2 words or 2 letters doubled up in a word. Something like goose, where there's 2 O's. Something along those lines. That significantly kind of ups the difficulty level for the clue guessers.
In word games, I typically really struggle to come up with the word, regardless of the word game, what the word game is. So I love that in fiction, you are choosing a word from a page from a book. So you choose a page, there's all these words, and then all the 5-letter words are highlighted, and you get to choose one of those. And I want to participate in these things. I just struggle. So I like that fiction allows me an avenue to participate in this, especially if I'm playing as the librarian. I really liked that.
I thought I was pretty decent at Wordle. I do, okay with my averages and stuff like that, getting them done in time. But with this idea of these 2-letter words or the 2 doubles up, all those things, it was just very, very challenging. This is a tough game. You add in that lying and that deceiving, and you only get 3 of those factor fiction tokens that you can use. Oh my goodness, this is incredibly tough. Yeah. This is a big old challenge. It's rewarding though when you get there. When you kind of suss it out and you figure it out, that difficulty, that crunchy, burniness, it pays off.
And I really like that regardless if you're the librarian or you're the guessers, there's still a good amount of stress. Like if you are the person presenting the clues, you really have to think about what you're lying about and be consistent with your lies or consistent with the truth that you're telling. If you say something is the truth and then later on you say that same thing is a lie, like people can deduce that. So you have to be really creative with how you're lying. We should not play this with our children.
No, they would all trust to be shattered.
Like, nothing.
But you said it was a G.
Yes. But also when you're the person guessing of trying to figure out what those clues are and trying to read between the lines of what's happening with that. I felt like there was a good amount of fun stress regardless of what side you were playing.
Okay, let's say you're one of those people that finds this stressful, right?
Oh,
it's not
yes.
good stress for you, it's bad stress for you. Well, guess what? It's still only a 20-minute game. You have 2 halves, both are 10 minutes each, with a little breather in the middle. And that's it. It's 20 minutes. It does not overstay its welcome. It is not something that's going to be drag on for an hour or something like that. You just confuse and whatever. Or if you're the librarian, you have to keep up this tension and it's 20 minutes. You got this.
Yeah.
20 minutes in and out.
I really liked this game, and I don't typically like a lot of word games because, like I said earlier, I just have trouble figuring out or coming up with words. Like, I just suck playing bananagrams. It is just horrible. I can't piece together. I can't do those tiny... I'm just really, really bad at it. But I really enjoy this, and the last time I liked a word game was, when Letter Jam came out. It's been such a long time since I've really enjoyed a word game, so this is so much fun for me.
If you are like me and you dabbled in Wordle and you had a good time, you're going to have a good time with fiction. I think if you like logic puzzles and deducing things like that, I think you're going to like this. In general, if you like word puzzles, I think you're like fiction. That being said, this game is not for everybody. I think that some games, when we talk about them, this game, I think, has a huge audience, or this game is, going to fit this group of people or whatever. I think there are going to be people, this does not work for them. If that time stuff stresses you out, the logic stresses you out, if you don't like word games as a whole, this is all of those things, so maybe step away from this one. That being said, if it does fit you're in any of those categories I mentioned, I think you're going to have a good time with this. It says it plays 2 to 8 players. You have the one person as the librarian, and then 1 to 7 people, all as one team, trying to figure all the clues out. Well, yes, technically up to 7 players is possible on that team. The higher up in the player count you go, it's more inevitable that one person's going to kind of rise to the top as the quarterback of the crew.
There's going to be people not playing at that point.
Right, there's going to be one person who takes over, and they're going to want to give them all the clues, and maybe even if they're nice about it, and being like, hey guys, here's an idea. even still, they're going to be the one pushing everything forward, and there's going to be one or two people who are just kind of sitting there watching and going like, yeah, sure. Sounds good,
Yeah.
you know. So in my mind, this is a 2-player game or like a 4-player game tops, right? And even still, you have to be careful to make sure everyone has a voice and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And a lot of cooperative games have those kind of traps of quarterbacking, and this is definitely the case for that team of this game. So that's all I have to say with this. I liked it because I do like logic and word puzzles.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
Yes, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
You guys, thanks so much for watching. This game was provided to us by a publisher in exchange for a fair and honest review.
And if you want to see more stuff, check out over here to see something we think you might like.
And over here, we think that YouTube has picked out a great video for you you're going to love. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.